Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and I'm inviting you to join my Patreon. Don't know what a Patreon is? It's my official video diary with only exclusive content that you won't see anyplace else. It's easy to join. Just visit patreon.com/Craig the Writer Stewart. Here's what you'll find on my Patreon. A day in my life, whether that's dinner with friends or a typical workday. Live Q&As with members of my Patreon about each episode of the T.S. Madison Experience and what I was really thinking. I'll even bring you on vacation with me. The video will make you think that you were right there. And last but not least, for all of my aspiring writers, I give you firsthand, one-on-one, personalized attention, answering all of your questions about publishing and self-publishing. So what are you waiting for? Join now. Swipe up or visit www.patreon.com/Craig the Writer Stewart. I'll see you soon. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Craig the Writer. Do it now.
I was about to put the intro video on, but I was so busy eating on these strawberry now and laters that I didn't even see y'all come up.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
All right, let's try this again. Hey, girl, hey. I have not had a haircut in a minute. I'm getting my haircut tomorrow. I know. Angela said, yeah, friend, you need a haircut. I was like, okay, girl. I went to the dentist today and I had my teeth cleaned. Listen, I almost didn't even want to eat these now, ladies, but I'm starting to get hungry and I didn't have time to eat anything before I had to jump on here. But good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Let me explain something to y'all. I went to Trader Joe's the other day, because it is plural. Right, eating candy already, just left the dentist. I went to Trader Joe's the day before yesterday to get a few things to eat, you know, like groceries. Baby, when I tell you they have this frozen bronzino, let me. They have this bronzino in the pack. In fact, let me go ahead and take some out now, because I already feel like I'm going to need something to eat after this live. When I tell you, and let me show you the seasoning that I put on it. My friend Danielle brought this to me from New York. Now, I don't know if they sell this in the grocery store. I know it's farm raised. That's the only issue that I have with it, is that it's farm raised. But at any rate, don't rain on my parade, okay? My friend Danielle, when she came out here for my birthday, she brought me this herb de Provence. If you have seen this in the grocery store and you have bypassed it, I'm gonna need you to circle back I need you to circle back to the grocery store, and I need you to pick up some of this. Now, I need you to go ahead and do me a favor and screen. Now, your niece. Now, you know I don't get paid from this. I'm just telling you about a little find, and I enjoy it. They may have, yeah, see if it's on Amazon, but I'm showing it to you close. It's by Natural Earth, and it's organic, and it's called Herbe de Provence. That's French, okay? Herbe. But at any rate, they may have it on Amazon. I'm going to check my grocery stores here, and if they look at him, look at Michael Burton. Everybody, turn around and look at Michael Burton. Everybody, turn around and look at Michael Burton. He didn't interrupted me while I'm going on about this seasoning. I need everybody to swivel your chair around and look at Michael Burton. Did he just come in here and ask for a free book? Did he just come? He only been here. He only been watching the lives for 20 minutes. Now, some of you have been here since the beginning, as Angela would say. Some of you have been here since the beginning, watching the lives. He just got here this week. He probably only came because he saw telling our stories. He only been here 20 minutes, and he's already putting his dibs in for a free book. No, nephew. I'm gonna need you to go on over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com. Let me put the banner up here. I got the Best Life 100 promo code running for paid for your sale. You definitely need to go ahead and sign up for that. Amen. Go ahead and sign up for that. But Michael Burton, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and scurry on over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com, and I'm gonna need you to purchase at least one book with your Visa debit card. If I have to get security and escort you up out of here, coming in here asking for free books. We just gave away free shoes the other week. Now people come here asking for free books. I'm just kidding. But this seasoning right here is so good. No, I don't get paid from them. I like to tell you about stuff when I find it, and I love it, right? Let me explain something to y'all. Danielle brought this shit down here from New York, and she said, nigga. Now, you know that's how we talk. We talk around the kitchen table talk. Now, I'm saying it to y'all because, y'all my extended family, so I'm going to say it to y'all. Now, anybody who is not a part of the African-American community, formerly known as Black, or currently known as Black, African-American, formerly known as colored, formerly known as Negro, you cannot say that, okay? Don't get bust in your mouth. Don't get bust in your mouth. But this seasoning right here, especially for those of you that have those heavy ankles, those swollen elbows with all that fluid, and those kneecaps with all that extra fluid floating around, this is good for you too, because there's no salt in here. There is no salt in here. There is no salt in here. Now, I'm going to tell you how I use this. Now, for those of you who don't know how to cook, that fish is frozen. You cannot put that in the air fryer, frozen, niece. Some things you got to spell out to the people. That's why we have a whole GED section. That's why we have a whole GED section, because see, somebody would have taken the frozen fish and put it right in the air fryer for 15 minutes. And then when they would have pulled that drawer out, they would have been wondering, like, why is it not cooked in the middle? Some things you got to spell out for people. That's why Tyler Perry spells out all of his stuff to his audience, because I think his fan base is mostly GED members. That's why he spells everything out in his shows and stuff, because he don't expect y'all to know. Okay, I leave something to your imagination. Amen. But anyway, you got to thaw your fish. So now the way that I do mine is I take the pieces out that I'm going to eat. I put them in some cold water. Fish, seafood, it doesn't take long to thaw. Not thaw out, Black people. Thaw. It doesn't take long to thaw. Okay? It doesn't take long to thaw. And once it thaws, you rinse it off. And then you season that girl, right? You season her. And so what I season my fish with is, you already know, I season. Every time I make seafood, I have to put a little bit of Old Bay, because it's not seafood if you're not putting no Old Bay. It ain't seafood if you ain't putting no Old Bay. Somebody said, I'm surprised you mentioned Tyler Perry's name. Kimberly Reed. I'm going to tell you why I mentioned his name. Because I had just produced this show called Telling Our Stories, and I showed Tyler and everybody else how you're supposed to do it. Amen. Now, listen, if I was able to do that on my budget, somebody please help me understand why he got boom microphones hanging down in his productions when he got plenty of money. That's what I be saying to y'all. I don't understand why his shit looks so raggedy. Why them wigs look all tilted and twisted. Why there's no continuity. In one scene, they got on hoop earrings. The next scene, they at the same dinner table. The girl got on studs. I'm just trying to say, you ain't got nobody that can pay attention to detail? So what I'm saying to you is, if I can do what I can do in my backyard, you mean to tell me he got a whole studio down there on the south side, he can't figure out how to... If I could produce a little web show, DC, Maryland, Philly, Virginia. If I could produce a little web show, I mean, he can't figure out. I mean, after all these years, he hasn't figured out how to. Baby, let me tell you something. If I had his money, y'all wouldn't want to leave y'all house, okay? Because I'm gonna have y'all at the TV and the phone all day long, okay? I'm gonna have y'all to be locked in all day long, okay? If he can't figure it out with his money, so Kimberly Reed, that's why I had to mention that. But no, what I was gonna say was this seasoning. I put Old Bay on my fish. I sprinkle some of that on there. You get a little bit of onion powder. Because see, some of y'all run straight to salt and wonder why you got headaches. And ain't drinking no water. Old Bay, garlic powder. Now let me show you. I use this mixed garlic powder. It's called Garlic Lovers. Or sometimes I'll use this garlic and lemon. Okay, sometimes I use that. What else I put on it? You cover it with this. The fish needs to be covered in this. It needs to look like you dropped it right in some dirt. Okay? Because again, there's no salt in this. When I tell you, you throw that. Oh, wait. First. You thaw out the fish. You sprinkle a little bit of olive oil on it, or grapeseed oil, whatever oil you use, avocado oil, whatever. Put a little bit of that on there. Then you put your seasoning. Then you throw that girl in the not the microwave, the air fryer. Oh yeah, you put a little pepper. Yes, you put a little pepper. I forgot to say pepper. Now you can sprinkle a little bit of sea salt. A little bit. See, some of y'all add salt like this. Girl, how much salt you put in? Look. Girl, you still putting... 3 minutes later, you look at her. She's still like this. And she can't figure out why she can't get her blood pressure down. She don't drink no water. Girl, that's salt. That is salt, girl. Calm down. That is salt. She at the ER every other Friday. Ma'am, can you stop clogging up our lobby? Niece, please. Look. commercial break. Look, Jasmine said, that is my dad. You be like, give me that. And you know, you got people that sit down at the table, they haven't even tasted their food yet. And they're like, you got any salt? Look at Gigi. What's the name of the seasoning again? I don't think she can see from the GED department. It's called Herb de Provence. So go ahead and screenshot this. Some of y'all watching on TV, I know though, so you can't screenshot it because you're watching from TV. But this is it right here. Grab your little pen and pad. Because don't be emailing me over at craigthewriterstewart.com because my website is not for, could you tell me what that seasoning was again? You had talked about it the other night, and I was trying to put the baby to sleep, so I didn't get to see. So can you, girl, don't be emailing me about no seasoning. Let me tell y'all something. I did a one-on-one. You already know they're going to be over there emailing me. Oh, Tanny Joy said they got it at TJ Maxx. Girl, they're going to be bum rushing TJ Maxx tomorrow. They can be bum rushing TJ Maxx tomorrow. Girl, they got it at TJ Maxx. Let me check out. Let me look on Amazon and see if they got it up here on Amazon. Because it'll be here tomorrow morning. You know, Amazon don't be playing. But you know, as soon as I typed in Herb Day, it came up. Oh no, this ain't it though. This is a bunch of. Oh wait a minute, this is not the same one. They got some imposters on here. That ain't it. Don't be texting me now. I'm on my live now. Y'all know I got to work. Got to recoup some of that money that I had paid to get that show filmed. They talking about this needs to be an hour. I see y'all comments. The episode needed to be an hour. We got to wait till next week. Girl, production costs money, needs. They want me to. And it's always the people that they ain't buy no books. They ain't sending no Zelle. They ain't buy no greeting cards. No, they don't have this on. They don't have it on Amazon. This is not the right one. It's not on Amazon, so don't go over there, niece. The Herb de Provence that I'm talking about is by a company called Natural Earth. Okay? My friend Danielle brought it to me from New York. Somebody just asked, where did you get it? Danielle brought it from New York. So I'm going to check the grocery store here. And then when, if I don't see it here, I'm going to get some the next time I go to New York. But I will be buying about 2 or 3 because you see, I'm already halfway through. This is what some of y'all salt and pepper shaker look like. That's that sound is taking me out. Okay, so listen, look at Uzu. Talking about, yeah, it did need to be an hour. Send me a cash here for Zelle, Uzu. But yeah, to answer your question, I will be doing future seasons of telling our story, and there will be different people. Okay. There will be different conversations. We will have trans representation, as well as non-binary and all of that. You know, we'll have all of that. But this was just the first installment, niece. Let me get there. My plan is to film another series of episodes, and it will be a different conversation. I did say this last night when I went live after the premiere, that the show itself is called Telling Our Stories. This season is called Telling Our Stories, a conversation with Black queer men and women. But when I do it again, it will change. It will still be called Telling Our Stories, but then it may be called a conversation with Black gay men and Black straight men. Or it may be a conversation with trans women and cisgender women. Or it may be, you understand what I'm saying? So it's always going to be that dialogue with that group, right? But I also got your feedback too about doing a reunion show. So I mentioned to you guys that we're all in a group text, and I haven't proposed it to them yet, but I am going to propose it because I love that idea of doing like a reunion show, because I would be interested in hearing what they think about it once it's all done, once we air all of the episodes. And so what I'll do is I'll send them a message and ask them, how do they feel about doing that? And what we'll do is when we film that, it'll be live, right? We'll do it live. And I'll bring somebody in to hold the camera and do all of that. And then I'll have my cell phone and I'll look at your questions, and you can ask your questions in the comment, and I'll just, I'll ask them the questions that you bring up. But also in that conversation, like I said, I want it to be a thing where we get their reaction for how they feel about seeing themselves and what they said and what feedback they may have gotten. But here's the other thing. When I when I asked them to do it, I asked probably like 25 people. I had about 25 people that I had asked. I think the group that we had was just enough. We had about 13 people. I think it may have been 13 including me. I can't remember. It may have been 12 and then I made 13, or either it was 13 and I made 14, something like that. But there are people in their group text that weren't able to make it at the last minute because they were out of town or something like that. And they're like, damn, I missed this, right? It's one of those things. But when I film the live version, or the live reunion show, if you will, it will be less produced. I'm thinking it'll be like a conversation right here in the house. But I don't know, we'll figure that part of it out. But I do like that idea. So that is something that I will implement. But when I was saying earlier about doing, I do like the I do like the idea of it being in the backyard. I like the backdrop. So when I film again, I want to do it in the backyard. But I'm thinking about the weather. Like, I can't film that shit in the middle of the fucking summer because it's just too goddamn hot. Now, the backyard is pretty shaded because there's a lot of trees back there. But you know how it is in the summertime. In the summertime, when it's hot, even if there's no sun out, like if it's humid, it's too muggy to be sitting out. You know what I mean? So my idea is to film the next batch of shows, again, with a whole different cast of people. It would be probably maybe September or October, like when the weather is just about, like it's nice and temperate like it was that time, right? I'm thinking we would do it. No, we can't do no fan, and then you can hear all that noise. Then y'all gonna be complaining about that. Well, we can't even hear. What's that fan going on? Y'all already complaining about the birds and shit. It ain't my fault. It's nature out there. But at any rate, no, that was not fake wind. That was the real wind. Is there a seat over there in the GED section for Riri? She's in Chicago. Are there any seats for? There is. Riri, go have a seat over there in the GED. She said, "Is that fake wind?" What is she talking about? But at any rate, but somebody did say in the comments here, and in fact, Scott's birthday is today. So I took Scott out for lunch today, and he was saying to me that he said it would be really great if the reunion show, let's just say like I booked like a small theater and actually opened it up to the public, and then we had the conversation like that. And I love that idea, but I think it's too soon for that because I know most of you're not in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So if it was some sort of an event like that, I would have to do it when I know that there's a large following for telling our stories. Like it's a movement at that point, right? And so if I put a flyer out and said, "Hey, we're actually going to do a live telling our stories in Atlanta on such and such date at this theater," like, it has to grow to that. But I love that idea. So anyway, so that's that. Was there something else I was going to say about that? I think that may have been it. But I do appreciate all of you who shared the video, who shared it, or like who texted the link to your friends, or you shared it on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram. I so appreciate that. Um, I really, really appreciate that. I truly, truly do. Like it, like I literally, and I don't even think I got to say this last night because I was kind of like on a high. Because it was just like in that moment when I was waiting to, first of all, I was anxious as shit for it to go up, right? Because I've had the episode since like Sunday. But now I do want to do a conversation with Cassandra. Cassandra is the editor, right? And she and I have been working together for a long time. And I mentioned to her that I want us to do a live and talk about our process. So that's something that I would love to do. But I think that may be a conversation. I think that's a separate conversation too. I don't think that should be with everybody else. I think that's a different conversation. So yeah. But I was on a high because it was almost like it's over 4,000 views right now, which to me I think is impressive. I was on a high because I was just thinking like it wasn't that long ago that I began streaming live. And the fact that I've grown to this point where, I don't know, just having the idea to even do this. You know what I'm saying? This idea came to me when I was in New York back in December. Was it? Yeah, I was in New York in December. So when I was in New York in December, that's when the idea first came to me. And I was literally at a club with Mike in Harlem. And they were sitting over there talking and drinking. And I had kind of sequestered myself. Yeah, it's been 5 years since I've been streaming live. Alicia is one of my first people. And I was sitting over, I had sequestered myself over in the corner, music blaring and going on and on and on. And I had my phone and I just started taking notes. And the idea just came to me. And I was just taking notes. And here are my notes right here. These are all of the notes. Is there a date in here? Oh, there's a date in here, but it was updated because I made some changes in May. But these are all of my notes. And then like, these are all of my questions that I had, but I put like a summary at the top, like what I wanted it to feel like, what I wanted it to look like. And you know, and then when I get with Cassandra, I send her timestamps and, you know, like at this part, I want you to cut that part. Like I literally gave her all of the camera shots that I wanted, right? So Justin filmed it, and I said to Justin, I want you to bring that drone, and I want you to get some footage. And so then I looked at, and I said, I want you to go over the house, go down to the back. I gave him all of that, right? And so then I looked at all of the footage. I wrote down timestamps of clips and shots that I wanted Cassandra to pull. And then I sent those to her and she pulled on them. I told her, I mean, it's a beautiful marriage that she and I have, right? And she's just really good, but she has a lot of her own ideas as well. And it merges really nicely. She's able to take my ideas and go to the next level is what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I was just really impressed. And so she said to me yesterday, she said, I'm starting on episode 2 now. And she said, let me tell you what she said. She said, I want to go even harder on this one. Let me see. She said, I got to step it up on the next episode. It's a creative thing. I just like this. I just feel like this is so good. What follows this has to be better. So she's even more excited and eager to make it, you know, a great, enjoyable viewing experience for you guys too. And you know, and make it a teachable moment. Like I got so many messages from straight people saying, I'm a straight woman or I'm a straight man. And this really was excellent. It was a great conversation and somebody else said something that was really nice too. They said, it was nice to have the conversation without a lot of debating and arguing and yelling over each other. And I did set the tone before we started. I said, listen, please, we need to hear everybody because we got cameras, we got audio, and the people watching are going to need to hear everyone speak. So you can't speak over each other. And there were a couple of times you're not going to hear it, but there were a couple of times where I was like, you know, I would get somebody's attention. I wasn't on camera, so you didn't see me, but I would do like this, like, be quiet. Yeah, I mean, because sometimes it's, you know, when you're in a group conversation, sometimes you're almost compelled to just talk to somebody on the side, and like, you know, you still kind of debriefing. And I would be like, you know, I wouldn't say it, but I would just kind of like, but I said to them in the beginning, I said, so if I do that, please don't think that I'm trying to be like telling you what to do. I said, it's just for production purposes. But they were just really good about it. They really, really were. Yeah. And so we're not cutting out anything. Like, you're really going to hear what everybody said. You know, a lot of times when people, yeah, you can send it to all of your friends, Marquis. So like a lot of times when, you know, people talk about editing and cutting things out and taking things out. We're not taking anything out. You're going to hear and see everything that was there. Now, what we take out is, like, sometimes, like when I asked the question, sometimes there was a pause because people are kind of thinking about what they want to say. And so I had Cassandra condense that. I didn't want, like, I wanted to be fluid. I wanted to feel like I asked the question and they answered. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be like a pause and a gap. And so, why is the Alexa just be talking and I ain't even saying nothing to her? Now I was asking her earlier to do something and that bitch didn't do it. And now I'm talking to y'all and she trying to, but so I did things like that. But in terms of like editing, I'm not cutting anything out. I want you to hear everything that was there, and there are no wrong or right answers. These are based on their experiences. Like, I talk to you guys all the time, so it wasn't about me telling you my experience. Like, I really wanted you to hear their experience, and it was intentional that I had people there from the age of 25 all the way up to almost 60. The oldest person there was 58, and I wanted male and female, you know, to be in the room. So yeah, so anyway, so that was that. Where is thank you very much. Chronicles of Kim K. So yeah, so anyway, so yeah, so that was that. But yeah, I'm excited about what's next. You know, doing like other conversations and that kind of thing, because, you know, but yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, saying like I was gonna tell you guys. Oh, please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to tell you guys too. The Wix NOLA promo code CTWS, it is still active. She's going to keep it until the end of the series, right? So it'll be active. But so is the shipping promo code. So this promo code that's scrolling at the bottom is active, but so is the CTWS 20. So let's say you're purchasing one item. Her shipping is a standard of $9. So let's just say you're purchasing a room spray or you're purchasing one candle, and the 20% off is less than the shipping cost. Then you would just want to use the CTWS free ship promo code. But if it's going to make sense to use the other one, then use the other one. Thank you, Shauna, for the super chat. Yeah, the people who are, everybody there was queer. So Wendell is married to a man. Monica is gay, is a lesbian, and she's engaged to a woman. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Dwayne. Dwayne said I went back to watch it again. Wait, is Meech in here? Somebody saying something about Meech. Somebody, is Meech in here? Y'all talking about Meech? I don't know. I don't see it. What did my girl? Congratulations, Craig, on the communities and being a vessel. Numerous years, I'm believing these segments are about to take off. I hope they will. I really do. But you know, whether or not they take off, really, it really is contingent on how you guys share the show and you know, help bring attention to it. Because it can't just be me promoting it. Like, I really do need your assistance. And so I appreciate Madison for sharing it on her Facebook and YouTube channel. channels. Chi Chi. I mean, I sent it to a lot of people. Lonnie B shared it on his Instagram. So I appreciate everybody who did, because it definitely helped elevate it. But I don't care if you only have 3 followers or 3 friends on Facebook. Like, just share it. Like, you just never know where it's gonna go. Um, so I, Tiffany from Wix Nola Candles on, because I told you guys I would have her tell her story, and so that's why I called the live. What did I call it? Surviving and overcoming or something. I said. But this is Tiffany. Is it Harris or Brown?
It's Brown.
Okay, Tiffany Brown, and she is the founder of Wix Nola Candle. The website is scrolling at the bottom. It's shopwixnola.com. As I said a moment ago, the promo code that's down there, CTWS free ship, is active, but then so is the promo code for the 20% off. It's CTWS20. So either code, but you can't use both. It's going to be one or the other. But I wanted to bring her on here because I wanted her to tell you her story about what happened when her store burned down and she's now rebuilding. And you guys know that one of the cornerstones of these lives that I do, it really is about promoting and supporting Black-owned businesses. Part of the reason that I did that, and I've done it since the beginning, without people paying me to do it and that kind of thing. The reason why I started doing that was because when I was in a position and needed help, there were people who could have helped me that didn't help me. And, one of the prayers that I had when I was trying to get to this point, and of course there's other points that I want to get to, but trying to get to this point, I promised God, and I used to pray to God, and I used to say, listen, if you give it to me, I promise that I will tell everybody that you did it for me, that you helped me, how you helped me. And I would always remind people of the story. And so of my story. And so I wanted to help her because I just happened to be following her. Now, this goes all the way back to when we were doing the Honest Hour. And she happened to send some products in. And I love the products. And I was like, oh my God, these are good. And so I just was mentioning it. And then at some point I started following her Instagram. She was following my Instagram. And I started following her Instagram. And I saw, when was the fire, Tiffany?
The fire was April of last year.
Last year. So I was
Hmm.
following her Instagram, and I saw that the store had burned down. And so the store that's in the commercial that we ran, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it burned down, and I was like, oh my God. And so I DM'd her. I had never met her until I was in New Orleans the other week.
Right.
I didn't know her. I did not know her. I just happened to see that post on Instagram, and I DM'd her. And I said, do you remember what I said?
Yeah, I think it was something like basically like, I know I want to help you. Let me know what I can do, if I can share, if I can tell somebody about you, just let me know. And I was like, I truly appreciate that, but I know how people are, especially us. And I was like, I'm not ready. Like, don't put it out there because I know when you say it, people are going to want to support because they love you. And
Mhm.
me being an extension of that, people are going to just want to support because they love you. So I was like, don't do it yet because I'm not ready. And I don't want it to be a situation to where I'm not able to fulfill orders on time and things like that because we were truly starting over at that point.
Right. And one of the things that Tiffany said when we went to, but well, let me say this first. For those of you that are watching, the reason that I wanted to have her on here, not just because I want you guys to support her, but also because there's a story that can inspire you. I don't know where you are in your life. I don't know if you're in school and you're at that point that you want to give up. I don't know if you're, in the midst of starting a business or you already have a business going and you're at the point that you want to give up because there's no evidence that things are going to turn around and you're going to make it. But I wanted her to share her story directly because it's one thing for me to tell you, but it's another thing to hear it from her. And so when we were in New Orleans, Angela and I were in New Orleans, we went to dinner with Tiffany. And so I was able to dig into the story a little bit more. And she was saying, so in addition to what she just said was she didn't want me to promote it at that time because she knew that you all would jump out there to support her because we love a story, first of all. And we love a comeback story. And so not so much because I was going to promote it, but because we love a comeback story. And I know that there would be people, just like when I say, hey, we're going to do a giveaway, you all come to it and you try to help. So we knew the same. She knew the same thing was going to happen, and she said, "Well, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not ready because I don't want people to order." And no, the website is shopwixnola.com. And so it's scrolling at the bottom. And so she was like, "No, I don't want you to promote it yet because we're still trying to rebuild. And if orders come in and I'm delayed sending them out, I'm trying to get new product in. I don't want the customers to be upset and going on social media, tearing me up." And I said, "Okay, got it." I said, "Well, just let me know when you're ready." But what she said to me when we went to dinner was, she couldn't even talk about the store because it was still very emotional for her that it burned down. So that was another reason why she wasn't ready. And so, but I want you to tell them, first of all, that you left your job. You left your job. So start there.
hmm So I was in healthcare administration prior to all of this, working as an office manager for different hospitals and clinic groups, helping physicians start offices and things like that. And I loved what I did, but I just felt like it was something else that I was supposed to be doing. Much kind of like you said with your story before too. I just kind of felt like it was greater. Like I was supposed to be doing something else. And I just kept thinking, God has something else for me, but I don't know what it is. And I always had that feeling, but always continued to do my job, to my fullest ability. Like you, for years, I had 50 jobs. I went from place to place to place to place. I didn't like it. I was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for years, before I finally settled into something that I like doing. And like I said, I love my job, but my kids were getting older as well, and things were getting more expensive for them with them wanting to drive and car insurance and, just all the things. So I started just trying to figure out something I could do to generate some more income, just to have a kind of side income. I
Mm-hmm.
always loved home fragrance. I always loved perfumes and all those type of things. So I started making candles. And I had already decided that I was going to try to pattern and make the niche the city of New Orleans because I just love the city of New Orleans. I feel like everybody that loves it comes here loves the city of New Orleans. People fall in
Mm-hmm.
love with the place. Even people that leave, they, come back and, things like that. So I felt like that would be something that would connect to people. So started doing a bunch of different markets and things like that. And we just were really successful. And someone said, you need to like keep doing this and try to make it a business. But I knew I couldn't do it full time, so I continued to work full time, and I did that probably for 2 years before I opened my first store, which was in Kenner, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
um, we did that for maybe about 8 months, and I lost that first store to Hurricane Ida.
Oh,
That was
wow.
a total loss.
Now, see, I didn't
Total
know
loss.
that.
Yeah, that was my
Okay.
first store. And I lost it to Hurricane Ida. We were in an older building, and the hurricane hit that area pretty hard. So roof was gone, pretty much everything. So I was back here in my kitchen working again, which is where I am now, in my dining room, working and, trying to decide if I even wanted to step back out and try it again because, once you lose everything, it's hard to have to restock supply and it's a chore and it's a lot of money and it was coming out of my pocket, and I was continuing to work full time because this was kind of funding my dream. Um, but God just kept telling me, like, keep going, keep going. Like, if you can show me that you are determined to hear me and follow what I'm telling you to do, I'm gonna show you. I got so much
Mm-hmm.
more for you. So if you just got to keep going.
He
So I was just like,
rewards
okay,
discipline. I believe God rewards
yes,
discipline.
yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, okay, but I don't see it. Like, I don't see it, but okay. And people just started like sending me different things for grants and different things for loans. And I was getting like approved for like grants that I was applying for. And I had never even thought about doing those type of things. But it's like the money was just coming to me to keep going. So I was just like, okay, like this is just too easy. It's got to be God. It's just like everything is lining up. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided to move into my dream location, which was the store that you guys saw in the video on Magazine Street. That was 2 months after the storm. I was able to get the money to move into that location. Beautiful location, really, really high traffic area in New Orleans. Um, Really touristy area, so the rent is very expensive, but you get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of foot traffic and business. So I was like, okay, I think we could do it. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to work this store full time. So I'm gonna have to quit my job. And I had been praying, like, Lord, let me know when I need to quit because I was holding on to the security of that job because I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I know that check is coming every 2 weeks. No matter what's
Mhm.
going on, that check is coming.
That's what
Um,
locks a lot of people away from their dreams. It keeps a
yes,
lot of people away from their dream.
yes. And that was like almost like I felt like my safety net. I was holding on to that. But I was like, okay, I have to quit this job so that I can really put everything I have into my business. 'Cause I felt like I was still like splitting my time. I was kind of still giving half of my job to my job and then half to my business. So I was like, I want to devote myself fully to my business. So I need to walk away and just be okay with that and just know that God's gonna provide for me. So at that point I did quit my full-time job. We opened that store on Good Friday, actually, the day after Thanksgiving. We were up until that morning of Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving dinner at the store. I had somebody to cook for us. They brought the food to us. My family, my friends. It was a big family effort. We got the store ready,
Hmm.
opened up on Good Friday. Things were going great. We did great. Christmas time, New Year came for January. And then in April, it was actually April 3rd. I got up in the morning to go to the bathroom and I had a voicemail on my phone. And it was like maybe about 5 in the morning, somebody had called. And you know, anytime somebody calls you late, 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 it's like something's wrong.
Yeah.
So I immediately checked my voicemail and it was the fire marshal from the city of New Orleans that was calling just to let me know that there had been a fire at the store and that I needed to get down there as soon as possible. So
Hmm.
I was just like, oh my God, like that was my worst fear. Like I always, for some reason, just had this something was over me thinking at some point I was gonna end up having a fire. It's like almost like I almost feel like I wished it
A
on myself because I
premonition.
kept, yes, it's like I kept thinking it. Even when I was in kinder, I kept thinking, Lord, if something ever happens and I happen to have a fire, like it's just like the whole thing of a candle company and it's a fire. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
kept thinking something was gonna happen, and sure enough, it did. Um, so I jumped in the car. My husband was asleep. I was like, look, I gotta go. They just called. They said the store's on fire. And he was trying to get information from me. I couldn't even hear what he was saying. I was like, look, I like my mind was like, I gotta go. So I didn't even like I was in pajamas still. Jumped in the car, drove down there, and it's about maybe 25, 30 minutes from my house. And I'm on the phone with the fire marshal at that point. You know, he was just telling me it's a lot of smoke damage, but I think you'll be able to recover. You know, it's just a lot of smoke. So I'm like, okay, I'm still
Uh-huh.
trying to be positive. Like, okay, I'll probably be out for maybe a month. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll be able to open back up. Craig, when I walked in that store and I saw even down to the light fixtures in the ceiling had turned to like they were melted, like they had melted from the ceiling. They were on the ground, like
Yeah.
everything was gone. And I just stood there like I just started screaming. I was on the phone with my husband, and he was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was just like, I just kept screaming, "It's gone! It's gone! Everything I worked for is gone!" Like I just laid on the floor and just cried. And like
Yeah.
I said, it's taken me a long time to even get to a place to where it's like, and I feel myself getting emotional now, but I just was
Hmm.
like, God, like, how? Like you lined this up perfectly for me. What
Hmm.
what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
how could you like line this up for me and then take it from me? Like
Hmm.
I'm doing everything that you asked me to do. I'm telling people about you. Anytime anybody would come in the store and they would be like, "Girl, how did you get in this space?" Because it's not really black owned businesses on Magazine Street. One, the rent
Yeah.
is just way high. And just a lot of the owners of, it's old white money. They not trying to rent to a lot of black folks. They just not. Um, so I just kept saying, everybody would ask me, I'm like, it's God, it's God, it's God. I'm like, I'm pushing and I'm telling people about like, how could you do this to me? Like, I just felt like I
Hmm.
I, I put all my money into this. I did everything that you asked me to
You
do. Like,
left your job.
yes, yes, I left my job. Like now I have no job. I have no store. I have no income, and my bills are not gonna stop. Like I have a loan that I have to pay for this store. You know, I had moved into that store, and people kept saying, "Well, what about your insurance?" Well, I moved into the store right after Hurricane Ida. And if anybody's in a state that has hurricanes and storms knows, insurance companies do not write policies when there are new storms either in the Gulf or if it's right after a storm because they're already in the midst of paying out all these policies. And
And a
Ida
lot
was
of
a
times
big
they don't even
storm.
pay out those policies.
And they exactly.
Mhm.
So I couldn't even get insurance. So the only insurance that I did have was to pay for his building, which I was
Oh,
thankful for that
wow.
and thankful that nobody got hurt because that
For
was my
sure.
other worst fear because my store was downstairs, but there were three apartments on top of my store. And that's actually how the fire department got called, because the smoke was going upstairs, and the people upstairs happened to smell it and call the fire department. But like I said, I was devastated.
So somebody in the comments asked, so there were two questions. First, how did the fire get started? I know, but you can share with them.
So I have these big pots that we melt the wax in, and they sit on top of like metal tables. I had these like metal fire retardant tables, and they sat on top of there. Well, at night we would turn the pots down enough to just keep the wax warm, but we never had them too high because the wax would burn anyway.
Hmm.
But for some reason that night the pot malfunctioned and drove the temperature up really, really high on the pot, and the wax caught fire. And then once the wax caught fire, it caught to the oils and everything else in the shop. So then it just went
Hmm.
up. The other thing that made it worse too, when the fire department came, they knew it was a candle shop, but they used water. And basically it's almost like putting water on grease, because the wax is really nothing but oil based. It's
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
plant based, but it's coconut and it's wax. So once in the oils from the fragrance, so once they put the water onto it, even on the video, you could see like the fire like shot to the front door. Like it just cranked it
It
up to
combusted, yeah.
it did. So it just made it worse.
So you said something there. You said these are completely plant based, and so I just want to kind of say to you guys that love candles, it is important to have plant based candles,
Hmm.
because remember, I say to you guys all of the time, it's not just about what we eat and consume in our body that can
Right.
cause cancers and other health defects and issues. It's also the
Hmm.
stuff that we breathe in. So that's why I say to you guys, be careful and mindful of these cleaning products that you're using at home,
Yes.
but even like the
Yes.
candles and stuff that you burn. So her candles are plant based and they're coconut based. So keep that in mind as well when you're purchasing. I want you guys to really, really, really support her. I know everybody's on a budget. Everybody can't go in there and buy 5 or 6 candles, but if you can just go in there and buy a room spray, every little bit helps. And I'm only saying this to you guys because I believe, and I have said this since day one, we are in the position, when I say we, I mean black and brown people, we are in the position to help each other elevate to the next level. We are
Hmm.
in the position to do that. We spend, as black and brown people, we spend a legitimate amount of time. It's legitimate. We spend a legitimate amount of time talking about the shit that white folks don't do for us and what they don't help us do and how they exclude us from shit. All of that shit is legitimate. But we don't spend enough time talking about what we can do to support each other. And
Right.
so I know everybody has obligations, but again, just like you spend your $8 over at Starbucks, you can go over there and order you a room spray or some melts or something. And again, I know a lot of you shop at Bath and Body Works. You shop at what's some other candle places? You know them candle places.
Uh-huh.
Shift your money over to this woman. It's a black woman. And like we're able to support and do stuff in our own community when we support each other. I'm
Right.
able to do these giveaways, these shoe giveaways and shoe drops because you guys support. And it's not just because you support by buying books, it's because you support when you watch the videos and you hit the like button and YouTube sends a check. Amen. So then I can take that YouTube check and go do some stuff in the black community. But I can't do
Right.
that if y'all, so the same is true with
It's
Tiffany.
true. It's
The
true.
same is true with Tiffany. My girl Les just said she ordered 2 big candles just now. It's my fourth order, y'all. Yeah, she's been
Oh,
ordering.
thank you. Thank you, Les.
Someone else asked, "Do you make the candles yourself?"
I do. So you can probably see behind me my house. This is my dining room. It is
Oh,
a
she's making the
mess.
candles in the house now. I didn't say that. I forgot to say that.
So I'm
She's
still at home.
so she's back at home now. She's back
Yes.
at home now making the candles because again, the store burned down. So she's back at home now. So I want you guys to think about how inconvenient that is to be living in your house. You got kids, you got a husband, and you
Yes.
trying to do business and live in your house. We want to help her get back to a storefront. I truly, truly believe, Alicia said this in earlier. She said, whenever in the Bible there's stories about God elevating people, he never elevated anybody without taking away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is true. I have a similar story.
Hmm.
Tiffany's story is this. Pinky Cole,
Yeah.
what's the name of the place? Slutty Vegan, same
Hmm.
story. Slutty Vegan ain't her first store. She started in New York. Those of you that have been following me from the beginning, y'all know I had Pinky Cole on my So Much to Say podcast early on before they even had a brick and mortar, before they even had a store. She announced it on the podcast that they were about to open up a store. And so she had a fire at her place in New York. And then several years later, that's when she came down here and she was working for Iyanla Van Zant. She was a producer on Iyanla Fix My Life.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was doing this on the side. She was doing Slutty Vegan on the side, just like you were doing your job and doing your thing on the side. And so we can do this. We can help her get there. And then when we help her get there, we help the next entrepreneur get there. You know what I'm saying? So again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. There were people that could have helped me when I first started out, and they didn't. And so now that I'm in a position to try to help people and elevate people, I try to do that. And again, this happened organically. I did not know Tiffany. I just gave her my phone number when we were in New Orleans. I
Right.
gave her my phone number because I didn't know Tiffany. I just happened to see, and this is
I get
time
it.
and
Yeah,
time and chance happens for every man.
it
Time
does.
and chance.
Yeah.
And when it's your turn, I was just talking about this last night with Angela and Jack. God will say, oh, she's been working diligently. He's been working really hard. It's his turn. It's her turn. And he can pull your card. And I have a
Yep.
friend that used to say to me years ago, and I tell this story in my first book. My friend Greg said to me years ago, he said, Craig, right now you're just praying to be able to pay your bills. He said, but baby, your prayers change. He said, what you gonna be praying when God takes care of your bills and that's no longer your, he said, what you gonna be praying for then? And it's so true. Your
It is.
prayers change. So go ahead. So you're working out of the house now.
No, so I'm working out of the house now. I do desire to move back into a space. I think um it's like I've gotten to a place where I think fear is kind of
I know.
holding me in that space of like not wanting to venture out. But I do miss being able to talk to my customers. I miss the interaction. Um, the inconvenience sometimes of people that come down here and they want to shop. Like I've had just this week, like three people messaged me saying they were coming in town this week. Where can I go to the store? I can't wait to meet you. And I'm like, I don't have a store anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those things I do, sometimes wish I was still in a space and I desire to get back in a space. But like I said, I think it's the fear of what has happened to me twice is kind of
Yeah.
holding me back into like
Yeah.
not
But
wanting
you'll
to take a
overcome
chance to
that
step
fear.
out.
You'll overcome
Yeah,
that fear. Your heart is just broken still. That's all.
right,
And really and
right.
truly, it's only been a year or
Mm-hmm.
14 months because it was last year, April, that
Right,
this happened, right? So, but you're still healing, right?
right.
Because the same was true for me. Like when I started, I almost didn't publish my first book. I almost did not publish it. I had written it and, but then that fear was trying to cripple me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling myself, you wrote these plays. Yeah, it did well and you sold out, but then nothing happened with that. You worked with Dwight in the Purple Door and you had this reality show. Nothing happened with that. You were in the studio with Brandy. Nothing happened with that. You met Tyler Perry after your show sold out. Nothing happened with that. That fear will do a
Mm-hmm.
number on you, but you have to
Right.
change the way that you think. And
Yeah.
eventually, once you heal, you'll get to the point. Yeah, she does Essence Festival and all those things. Somebody's asking if she does do festivals. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, before she did this live, got on this live, she was delivering an order to somebody to the house. You went to the house.
No, I actually had to go to them. Yeah, I had to go to New Orleans to go to drop that off to them.
So
But
it's
it's
just
like
putting
you
that
said
hustle back
too,
in you.
Craig. It is, and that has always been me. I've always been a hustler. It's just more of like you said, kind of like even in those times of me feeling scared and doubting, God has continued to provide though. Kind of like you said, like you did this with Brandy, you did this with this person, you did this with. It's like I've continued to get opportunity. Like He's never
Mhm.
taken everything from me. So it's like I am thankful for that. That I do still get these
Yeah.
opportunities. We um got featured in Oprah magazine at one point. I was on the Today Show about a month ago. So it's like I keep getting opportunities and things that people have been doing this way longer than me have
Now
not been able to do. So I'm thankful.
I want you to tell them what you told me in the DMs, and this is not about me. I want her to tell you guys this part of the story because I want you to understand how powerful you all are when we coalesce, when we come together. Go ahead and tell them. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. So I gave the Today Show a code um to use during the premiere of we were actually featured on the Today Show for our candles. There was a book called Black Candle Women that was written in New Orleans, and so they featured us on the Today Show and showed our candles and everything. So they were like, "Well, can you give us a code to give to our people that are watching the show so that they can shop with you?" And I was like, "Sure." So I gave them a code. Well, I was on the live with Keon and Craig like maybe 15, 20 minutes that night. I think we might have been on the live, and I gave you guys a code to shop the live. I got more orders from Craig and Keon's live in that 15 minutes than I got from the Today Show. And that is a nationally televised show that has been on for years, years. And to this day, the numbers that I've done with you guys still far exceeds what I did on the Today Show.
And
So that
again,
just lets
that's
me know.
right. And again, that's not about me. I want her to tell that story because I need Black folks and brown folks to understand who we are.
Right.
I need us to understand what we are capable of doing. And it's not just about supporting businesses. It's about when we mobilize and take our ass to them voting
Yes.
polls.
Yeah. Yep.
Baby,
Yep.
when we mobilize and get to them voting polls the way we need to, a lot of
Yeah.
shit gonna turn around. Amen.
It is.
So I want her to share that story because I know a lot. And again, it's important to hear that story because a lot of times there's this murmur in our community that, oh, Black folks don't support Black folks. No, they do. I'm living
They
proof
do.
of it. Tiffany is proof of it. You know, a lot of people said, oh, ain't nobody reading no books. Oh, no, people reading these books. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So we got to change the way that we think and how we
Right.
see each other. And so I really believe that we can do this. And when the time is right, and you're ready to open up that store. And again, here's the thing. I say this all the time. And remind me to tell the story about Airborne and
Hmm.
Lisa Price in
Okay.
Carol's daughter.
Carol's daughter. Hmm.
Yeah. So I say this all the time, and those of you that have been watching know. I believe that everything that happens right here in the physical realm parallels something that's happening in the spiritual realm. So, yes, here in the physical realm, the store burned down. But there was a greater plan that parallels that reason. There's a reason that
Hmm.
happened. You may
Yeah.
not see it and understand it now, but there will come a day and a time that it will become clearer. That's first. And then the other part is you're still in this place where you're fearful because the universe, you're fearful right here in the physical form. But the God and the universe is holding you in that fear place because it's not ready for you to move. When
Hmm.
it's time for you to move, that fear will leave because the universe and God would have aligned all of the things that it needs to align.
Hmm. Yeah.
Look at Pinky
But
Cole.
but I will say, like, as far as that goes, I didn't see it at the time, like you said. But
Mm-hmm.
I have two daughters. I have a 21-year-old and I have a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with me having the store, my 21-year-old, she worked with me pretty much at the store every day. So we spend time together, mostly though at the store. Meanwhile, my 17-year-old was pretty much home every day. So
Mm-hmm.
I would see her maybe in the morning. She would kiss me before she got on the bus. And then by the time I was coming in at night, a lot of times she was already in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After we had the situation with the fire, she finally started to talk to me about things that she was experiencing and telling me a lot of times that she was depressed and
Mm-hmm.
that she was going through things and having different thoughts and things like that because I was working so hard and so busy trying to grind and thinking as an entrepreneur, oh, I'm doing this for my kids and they going I'm making this wealth for them and this and that. But my child was like suffering in silence and I had no idea
And
because
that
I
may
was
be
so
part of the
busy
reason.
working, and that's why. That's why.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's part of the reason
Yes.
why the universe allowed that
Yes.
fire to happen to bring you
Yes.
back home
Exactly.
and to give her
Exactly.
what she needed.
Right. And I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now. And I think
Yeah.
that's another reason why I'm kind of like, she'll be going to college. She's a senior this year coming. So I'm like, once she leaves to go to school, I may feel at that point that I can finally go
Exactly.
ahead and finish doing what I was doing. But right now, this is my priority, making sure that
Right.
I'm home every day. She
Uh,
has told me, Mama, I love the fact that I get off the bus every day and you are home. like being able to be here and um,
Mhm.
be here for my children. Of course, they love the things they do, but you have to keep sight of what's important. And
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had to like regroup and realize that my children, even though they're older, they still need me,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I need to be here, physically, not just, oh, I can send you some cash app, or let me send you some money for this. And I need to be here. I need to be present. And now
Right.
that the summer started, she's even started working with me, here help asking can she help to do things, and I've kind of put her to work and teaching her the business and different things financially. And so all of that has just been important. But like you said, I know now that that is why, because I don't know what would have happened.
Giving her something that our kids don't often get, that firsthand
Yeah,
knowledge on how to run a business and how to, be um, self-made, if you will.
right.
You know what I mean? There's a
Right.
question down here. Can you see that?
um Room spray that has a soft scent.
Yeah.
um I would say Nola Bougie is usually one that I suggest. It's a rose and vanilla, but it's a very light scent. I like New Orleans Lady as well. That's
And
like
New
one of
Orleans
my
Lady is one of my favorite
favorites.
ones too.
That's one of my favorite. I feel like that one is light too. It's like a Moroccan orchid in pink amber. The Sleepless in Nola is a nice one as well. It's a lavender and vanilla, and that one is very light as well.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What I said earlier was I wanted you to remind me about uh,
Airborne.
Airborne. So for those of you that you guys know, I watch Shark Tank. That's like my one of my favorite
Me
shows. I've
too.
been watching
Love
it
it.
since the beginning, right?
Me
So
too.
when we had so when we had dinner in New Orleans, I was telling Tiffany about an episode that I saw years ago, and it was what it featured the company Airborne. You guys know Airborne, the little tablets, and you drop it, and it's like vitamin C. Well, it's a white family who started that business. And they were making that shit out of their garage. It was like 4 employees. It was only like 4 employees, and it had an assembly line, and they were packaging that stuff and sending it out, right?
Hmm.
And so I said to Tiffany when we were in New Orleans, I said, "Listen, there's nothing wrong with a small start."
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with having a small start. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they're still in their garage, but they were in their garage for years. By the time they got to Shark Tank, they were still in their garage. So I don't know if they still are, but
No, they've actually sold
oh, they sold.
to another
Okay.
company. I ended up looking it up the other night. They sold
Okay.
to another company.
And then I was mentioning also to you guys about Carol's daughter. And I know a lot of you have fallen off from Carol's daughter because once she sold and it went to Sephora, they had
Hmm.
all the preservatives and stuff in it. But her story is one of those stories too. She was making that stuff at home.
Yep.
And she called, for those of you who don't know the story, she called it Carol's daughter because her mom's name was Carol. Her mom is deceased, but she called it Carol's daughter because that was kind of how it started. It was just like, um, what's that stuff that Carol's daughter makes? And so then it caught, and they started calling it Carol's daughter. And it was just like a word of mouth kind of thing. She started off in little festivals and church
Hmm.
conventions because her mother was heavily into the church. And so they would go door to door. They would come to her house, her place in Brooklyn, and buy her stuff. And so I was telling Tiffany, I said, listen, I know you're back at your house, but sometimes it helps you recalibrate and really reset your
Right.
intentions and
Right.
reset your vibrations. And
Right.
and I have my little candle over here. And so I set my intentions. I talk about what I want to manifest in my life.
Hmm.
And I did my sage the other day, and I fanned out all of the things that I didn't want to reside with me. I fanned all of that stuff out, and all of the things that I wanted to welcome in. I set my intention and I brought it in. And so you just have to have a moment where you set your intentions
Yeah.
in your life for what you want to manifest, which goes back to
Yep.
something else that I was doing on the live, and that was at the end of the year. I was challenging you guys to keep your gratitude box. Um, or write down like all of the things that you're grateful for. Like we've done different exercises like that too. So I think that you'll be fine. It's just a matter of um, learning from what
Right.
what this is designed to teach you, and then just move forward. And like I said, when it's time for you to relaunch into an actual brick and mortar, you'll have the courage to do it. You will have the
Right.
courage to do it.
Right. And then just to like, just realizing little things about myself that I tell people all the time, when you have different things about yourself, when you if you don't fix those things, when you become an entrepreneur, they just become magnified. It's like if you are not, or you're a procrastinator, you're going to be a worse procrastinator as a business person. If you're not good with
Hmm.
money, it's going to be amplified times 10 when you're trying to run a business and you
That's
have
right.
all these different things to do, when you're paying people and taxes and budgeting
Right.
your finances for your business. Like if you're not good with those things in the beginning, those are things that you have to deal with in order to be successful. So I know that to get to that next level, there are some things that, I need to work on. As far as because I've procrastinated a lot. I've always been a procrastinator.
Hmm.
Um, and I didn't find out until later that I had ADHD. So I was able to finally start seeing somebody and going to counseling and talking through those issues. With
Hmm.
different things, and it has really helped. So it's like I said, just different things that a lot of times you think that you want something, but sometimes God has to kind of prune you a little bit to get you ready for those things. Like, because if I put you in that position right now, you're gonna mess it up because you got things you need to work on.
And
So until I'm
that's the
ready, I'm fine
yeah.
with
And that's
it.
another one of those.
Like,
That's another one of those lessons that I had to learn. Like you may have the gift, you may have the talent right now, but sometimes the door hasn't opened for you because it's not about the gift or the talent being ready.
yes,
It's about you being ready. Sometimes God
yes,
has to clean up that selfish spirit that you may have.
yeah,
It may have that. He
hmm,
may have to clean up that lack of compassion you have. Like all of those things. Here's a
yeah.
question for you too. Is there anything that
Let me get
smells
my
like teak
candles.
wood or has a masculine smell?
Yes, there's a scent called Crew, which is
K
mahogany
R
and
E
teak
W
wood.
E.
It's Krewe. Yes.
I love that
Come
one
on now.
too. I love that one too.
Okay, that one is mahogany and teak wood. Um, the one that Scott loves, which is Lower Ninth Ward, is really nice too. It's a patchouli and oud wood, which is a really
Uh-huh.
nice scent. And Treme is another one that I really like. As far as like masculine smells, and Bywater.
Hmm. Bywater is one of my favorite ones too. No, no, no. Yeah, Bywater is mine too. I lost that one in the divorce. But but no, I'm just kidding. But no, Carlson did keep that one. But no, what I was gonna say was Lower Ninth Ward is one of my favorite ones. It was in my bathroom, and that's how Scott smelled it. And so
Okay.
that's when you sent that stuff. He said, "Oh, I want that one." But yeah, Crew is one of my favorites. It's Krewe. I should have
Hmm.
messaged you that too when you asked me.
Yes.
But so I want you guys to know also, whatever fragrance you get, let's say you buy a fragrance in the candle, it's also available in the wax melt. It's also available in the diffuser oil. It's also
Hmm.
available in the room spray.
Yes.
So it's in all of those varieties
And
or
I'm
all of those.
working on right now. I have like let's see, these little candles like this that come in like a little gift set.
Uh
So you
huh.
get four of them. So right now I have like different ones. This is just like you to sample and try scents. I'm actually putting one together of Craig's favorite scents. So the way it works is you'll get like each scent that he'll pick, and they go into like a little sliding tube, little paper tube, and then you pick the favorite of the group, and then there's a code that you can redeem to get a free candle in a larger size.
Yeah.
So you get these, you'll smell them, you'll pick which one you like the best, and then you'll redeem the code online for a free large candle in whatever scent that you pick. So I
Right.
was just
Look,
messaging him today to get his faves so we can go ahead and start getting that together and get it on the site.
Tanya Leonard
Listen,
said Tremaine walked out of
ah,
my house with one of my relatives' child. Oh my God.
I love Tremaine. That is one of my favorites. It is.
Listen, I really have loved all of them. I can't even. Let me tell you something about Gladys Christine Stewart. So you had sent me a package, um, whenever that was, and it was like you said, share it with Angela, Scott.
Yes.
Elliot didn't want anything because he said, "No, I'm buying mine. I'm going to support her. She ain't got to send me." He was like, "She
Right.
ain't got to send me
Right.
nothing for free." So Elliot
Right.
didn't get it. He wanted to buy his own, and he did. But and I think it may have been. Oh, and it was something from my mother. So my
And
mother
Jack.
gonna try to tell me that. So I had all this stuff here, and I'm giving it out. I'm saying, "Here, smell what you want, take what you want." Gladys Christine Stewart is here, trying to take candles for the dialysis tech. She said, oh, I need that for Cookie. I said, who is Cookie? Look at Tanya. Look,
Look, the Cookie.
I don't even know Tanya, and Tanya remembers the lady's name. Talking about the Cookie get.
Oh my God.
So back to Gladys. Here
That's
go
too
Gladys.
funny.
Gladys gonna say to me the other day, yeah, and somebody went in my bag too. Must have been when I went to sleep because I didn't have all the Cookie stuff. I said, first of all, Cookie better be glad she got what she got because I don't know Cookie.
Right.
Because I could have kept that stuff for me.
Cookie probably takes care of us. She wanted to give us something.
Right. But yeah, she did give. And look, and when my mother went back home, when she got back to dialysis, Cookie said, "Where's my stuff?" She said, "I got it right here."
Oh, she had to promise Cookie. She
didn't promise Cookie for some stuff like that.
Who is that? I want that.
Have you ever thought about making body oil? Somebody said.
So I am actually right now developing body butter as well as perfume. So I'm working on that. I plan to have those out. I'm thinking probably around September, October, but I'm testing right now. And it's going to be different scents. So I'm not going to do them in the same fragrances as the candles. It'll probably be maybe 5 to 7 fragrances that the body butter and the perfume will come in.
Yeah.
My goal overall is to be the Black Joe Malone. Okay.
Wait, the black what?
The Black Joe Malone. Okay.
Oh, the
So
Black Joe Malone.
The Black Joe Malone. So yes. So I'm trying to slowly go into body. Oh yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Come on, Black Joe Malone.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right, so I just wanted to bring you in here so you could share your story, and I really
I appreciate it. I thank you so much because you don't have to,
Yeah, and I really hope that even beyond tonight, people will continue to support your business, right?
No, I appreciate it, and thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate everybody who is even just the kind words and everything. I appreciate it because people do message me and tell me they saw me on the show and they're praying for me, and I understand everybody's not able to buy. We are in a recession right now, so I understand everybody's not able to buy. Yeah. But even that is support, and I just appreciate the prayers and just the well wishes and all of it. I really, really do.
All right. Well, thanks, Tiffany, for coming on, and
thank you.
I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You guys all have an amazing night. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. I went to the dentist today. She said, "Oh, your teeth look amazing." I said, "Thanks, girl." She said, "No, they look really good. It ain't much to clean up in here." I said, "All right."
Well, good. So you don't have to go to Detroit.
Right. And then look, I told my mother said to me today, she said, "So what'd you do today?" I said, "I went to the dentist. I had to get my teeth cleaned." "Did you have any cavities?" I said, "Girl, no." What I look like being 47 with cavities?
Right.
What you think, I'm 14?
No.
But all right, you guys have an amazing night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.